July 6, 2013, a day that marked a tragic event in aviation history. Today, we'll delve into the details of Asiana Airlines Flight 214, a scheduled flight that took a turn for the worse. Picture this: a trans-Pacific journey originating from Incheon International Airport in South Korea. The passengers on board were headed to San Francisco International Airport in the United States, expecting a safe and routine landing. But as the morning sun illuminated the sky, fate had a different plan. The Boeing 777-200ER, responsible for ferrying these travelers, faced a catastrophic turn of events during its final approach. It stalled and crashed, leaving a trail of devastation. Among the 307 people on board, 3 lost their lives, and 187 others were injured, 49 of them seriously. The impact was felt not just by those on the plane, but reverberated through the aviation industry. The crash also marked a grim milestone, the first fatal incident involving a Boeing 777 since its introduction in 1995. The aftermath prompted a thorough investigation by the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board. What they uncovered was a story of mismanagement during the airplane's final approach, leading to a tragedy that could have been prevented. The NTSB's findings pointed fingers not only at the flight crew, but also at deficiencies in Boeing documentation of complex flight control systems and Asiana Airlines pilot training. As we embark on this journey to understand the events of that fateful day, we'll uncover the lessons learned and the changes made to ensure the safety of future flights. Join us as we explore the story behind Asiana Airlines Flight 214, a tragic event that sparked a re-evaluation of safety protocols in the aviation world. Now, let's take a closer look at the aircraft involved in this tragic incident. Meet the Boeing 777-200ER, identified by its registration HL7742. This aircraft, equipped with 2 Pratt & Whitney PW4090 engines, entered service with Asiana Airlines on March 7, 2006. At the time of the crash, it had flown for 37,120 hours, completing a 5,388 takeoff and landing cycles. The Boeing 777 had been known for its safety, boasting a stellar reputation until that fateful day. Up until then, the Boeing 777 had been incident-free, making this the first fatal accident, the second crash after British Airways Flight 38, and the third hull loss since its commercial debut in 1995. Now, let's shift our focus to the people on board, the crew entrusted with the safety of the passengers. The air crew consisted of 3 captains and 1 first officer. Captain Lee Jong-min, a 49-year-old seasoned pilot, played a dual role as a check/instructor captain and the pilot in command. With 12,387 hours of flying experience, including 3,220 hours on the Boeing 777. This was his first flight as an instructor. In the left seat, Captain Lee Kang-kook, 45 years old, was undergoing initial operating experience training. With 9,793 hours of flying experience, including limited time on the 777, he operated under the watchful eyes of the instructor in the right seat. During the crash, Relief First Officer Bong Dong-kwon observed from the cockpit jump seat, while Relief Captain Lee Jong-joo occupied a business class seat. Miraculously, despite the severity of the incident, only Bong Dong-kwon suffered a cracked rib, requiring medical attention. 4 flight attendants seated at the rear were ejected during the crash, but miraculously survived, a testament to their resilience. Unfortunately, not everyone escaped unscathed. Chinese passengers Wang Linjia and Yi Mingyuan lost their lives, having been thrown out of the plane due to not wearing their seatbelts. Another passenger, Liu Yiping, wearing her seatbelt, succumbed to her injuries at San Francisco General Hospital 6 days later. Tragically, her seat's rotation during the crash contributed to the severity of her injuries. In total, 182 injured people were admitted to 9 hospitals in the area. Chief Juan Hayes White of the San Francisco Fire Department reassured the public that all on board had been accounted for. Among the passengers, 141 were Chinese citizens, with over 90 connecting from Shanghai Pudong International Airport. A significant number, 70 students and teachers, were on their way to the United States for summer camp. The tragedy struck particularly hard for the group from Jiaishan High School in Zhejiang, where 3 passengers lost their lives. As we continue this journey, we'll uncover more about the investigation, the findings, and the impact of Asiana Airlines Flight 214 on aviation safety. Now, let's unravel the details of the tragic crash that unfolded on July 6, 2013 involving Asiana Airlines Flight OZ214, departing from Incheon International Airport at 5:04 p.m. Korean Pacific Time. Flight OZ214 was 34 minutes behind schedule. The Boeing 777-200ER was destined for San Francisco International Airport, scheduled to land at 11:04 a.m. Pacific Daily Time. The flight proceeded uneventfully until its landing, where challenges emerged. The instrument landing system's vertical guidance on runway 28L was unavailable, complicating the precision approach. Cleared for visual approach at 11:21 a.m. The crew was instructed to maintain a speed of 180 knots until 5 nautical miles from the runway. At 11:26 a.m., the control was handed over to San Francisco Tower, and at 11:27 a.m., clearance to land was granted. The weather was favorable, with light wind, excellent visibility, and no reports of wind shear. Assisted by the Precision Approach Path Indicator, the pilots performed a visual approach. However, preliminary analysis revealed critical issues. 82 seconds before impact, at an altitude of 1,600 feet, the autopilot was disengaged, throttle set to idle, and the plane operated manually during the first descent. The crew reported conflicting statements about their position relative to the glide path, indicating a series of misjudgments during the approach. At a height of 125 feet, just 8 seconds before impact, the airspeed dropped to 112 knots. The auto-throttle, set correctly, failed to maintain the target speed, unbeknownst to the pilots until the last moments. 1.5 seconds before impact, a go-round was called, and the throttles were advanced. However, it was too late. At 11:28 a.m., the plane crashed short of runway 28L's threshold, striking the seawall. The landing gear and tail separated, with the fuselage and wings rotating counterclockwise before coming to rest 2,400 feet from the initial impact point. A dark plume of smoke rose as a ruptured oil tank ignited. Miraculously, despite the severity of the crash, many passengers were able to evacuate using the deployed slides. However, 2 slides on the right side malfunctioned, pinning flight attendants. This tragic incident marked the 3rd fatal crash in Asiana's 25-year history, prompting a re-evaluation of safety measures in the aviation industry. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the aftermath, the investigations, and the lasting impact of Asiana Airlines Flight OZ214 on aviation safety. The aftermath of the tragic crash of Asiana Airlines Flight OZ214 left a lasting impact not only on the lives of those affected, but also on the aviation industry and the reputation of the airline. Immediately following the incident, San Francisco International Airport was closed for 5 hours. Flights destined for San Francisco were diverted to nearby airports in Oakland, San Jose, Sacramento, Los Angeles, Portland, and Seattle-Tacoma. The disruption echoed across the region as aviation authorities worked to assess and address the aftermath. By 3:30 p.m., some runways were reopened, while others remained closed for over 24 hours. The accident runway 10R/28L underwent repairs and reopened on July 12. As a symbolic move, Asiana renumbered its Seoul San Francisco route to OZ212, highlighting a new chapter in their operations. In a strategic shift, Asiana opted for an Airbus A350-900 aircraft for its retimed scheduled departure of 8:14 p.m., deviating from the previous Boeing 777-200 used for the ill-fated OZ-214 with a scheduled 4:14 p.m. departure. The aftermath also saw a spotlight on aviation safety regulations. In the US, drug and alcohol tests are standard after air accidents. However, for pilots of foreign-registered aircraft, these tests are not mandatory. The absence of immediate testings for the pilots of OZ-214 garnered public attention, sparking discussions in the media and among politicians. Congresswoman Jackie Speier, in response to the incident, voiced her concerns and expressed the need for legislation to enhance airline safety. She considered proposals for increased pilot training and mandatory drug and alcohol testing for international crews. Beyond the immediate repercussions, the crash dealt a blow to Asiana's reputation and South Korea's aviation industry. Asiana's share fell by 5.8% on the first day of trading after the incident, making a tangible impact on the airline's financial standing. The incident prompted a critical evaluation of safety practices, not just within Asiana, but across the global aviation community. The response from Asiana Airlines in the aftermath of the Flight OZ-214 crash played a pivotal role in shaping the narrative surrounding the tragedy. As a gesture of empathy, Yoon Yang-do personally apologized to the parents of the two victims on July 9th. In a symbolic move, he took the same route as the crashed aircraft, flying aboard Flight 214 to San Francisco to meet with the officials from the National Transportation Safety Board. As a measure of support, Asiana Airlines provided flights to San Francisco for the families of the victims, acknowledging the emotional toll and the need of their presence during such trying times. On July 29, 2013, Asiana Airlines announced a significant change. In an effort to move forward, the airline decided to retire flights numbers 214 and 213, designating the ancient San Francisco route as OZ-212 and OZ-211 respectively. Recognizing the need for improvement, Asiana Airlines officials pledged to enhance training for their pilots, especially those transitioning to different aircraft types. The focus extended to various skills, including visual approaches and autopilot usage. The airline also committed to improving communication skills among crew members, including a fatigue risk management system, establishing separate maintenance teams for Boeing and Airbus planes, and refining safety management systems. On August 12, 2013, Asiana Airlines took a step forward providing immediate support to crash survivors. The airline announced initial payouts of $10,000 to each survivor, stating that they need the funds for hospital visits or transportation. As investigations unfolded, there was a possibility of additional compensation once the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board completed its inquiry. As we conclude this journey through the events surrounding Asiana Airlines Flight OZ-214, we've witnessed not just a tragic incident, but a story of resilience, accountability, and the pursuit of safer skies.